Okay, Mirrors 2. When I first started watching the first half an hour, I really felt like I was watching the first one. Just it wasn't as good. You began the security guard, this time he's eating glass, not slicing his throat. Then you see a woman die in a shower. Well, in Mirrors 1 you had a woman who essentially tore her head in half in a shower. Some of the special effects are not very good. You see two people have more gruesome deaths. One person gets their head cut off in a shower. I guess it was cold water because there was no steam. And her head gets cut off. It's done poorly. And there's a guy who essentially guts himself. For a larger production movie, you'd expect them to see a little bit better. This one looked like more like he's actually was cutting into pie crust. But, you know, I digress. And after the first half an hour, that's when it really actually takes a different turn. You know, if you saw the first one, the premise is pretty much the same. You have a night watchman for a department store who has a troubled past. You know, Nick Stahl, who plays the security guard in this one. He was going to propose to his girlfriend, had a car accident, and she died. He's had a hard time trying to really, move on from that. So he finally takes a job as a night watchman, because his father essentially kind of runs the company and wants him to, have a job to try to get his life back together. And the first night watchman essentially kind of, ate broken glass and quit. Would make sense if you eat broken glass to the point like your face is all busted up. I could see you wanting to quit your job. Where this one kind of changes a little bit is that he can look into a mirror and he'll see somebody else. And then he'll see that person essentially dying. He doesn't get in time to help the first person because he doesn't know what's going on. For the second person, he knows enough and he's like, I can probably see if I make it there to save him. This person, of course, he's going to have like this really nice steak dinner. Okay. The mirror version cuts his Achilles tendon. And then essentially, knife in stomach, pulls it across. And that one's done, fairly nice, fairly deliberately. And then you find out the actual backstory as to why some people are being targeted by the evil Mirrorverse. It's fairly satisfying. Is it as gruesome as the first one? I don't know. It's still hard to beat seeing, I think it was Amy Smart ripping her head in half. That one is still, that was an amazing kill. Woman getting her head cut off. Yeah. Guy kind of gutting himself. The queasiest part by far is when you see a guy almost cut his eyes out with a pizza cutter. I thought that one was kind of something about seeing, like a pizza cutter and someone holding their eye and trying to scoop at it. That was the only time I kind of go, something about trying to cut your own eye out with a pizza cutter. And of course they do eventually help the spirit, which leads to all the remaining parts being taken care of. If you like the first one, it's a decent follow-up. You can tell it's a direct-to-video. It doesn't have anywhere near the production quality as the first one, or the overall acting quality. Nick Stahl, he's a good actor. It's hard to top Kiefer Sutherland though. So if you like the first Mirrors 2 is a satisfying direct-to-DVD sequel.